A 32% drawdown in defensive market stalwarts historically signals a major structural pivot for institutional portfolios. While retail investors react to short-term volatility, institutional capital tracks historical pattern variations. Since 2004, the defensive landscape has witnessed only 4 corrections of this magnitude. Each occurrence eventually led to a major capital rotation back into high-quality cash-generating assets. We are seeing a major repricing event that demands systematic, data-driven analysis rather than emotional reaction. The key is understanding if current macroeconomic headwinds have permanently damaged these corporate moats, or if this correction is setting up a classic structural valuation reset. To evaluate these businesses, we must look closely at their core competitive moats. Leaders like HUL and ITC command distribution networks that reach millions of retail outlets daily. This direct-to-retail reach creates an immense barrier to entry for digital-first brands. This distribution power allows these giants to introduce new premium products at scale almost instantly. Meanwhile, Nestlé India and Britannia maintain strong pricing power in their respective categories. This brand equity acts as an inflation-insulated barrier, allowing these companies to preserve gross margins over multi-year cycles. This foundational strength is key to assessing their long-term survival. But distribution access is only part of the competitive story. The underlying product mix inside these conglomerates is undergoing a massive shift. Urban consumer demand is steadily tilting toward premium and wellness-oriented products. HUL has responded by rapidly expanding its premium beauty and personal care portfolio. Concurrently, ITC is leveraging its agricultural sourcing strengths to scale its value-added food products. This transition toward higher margin offerings is crucial. It helps offset the structural volume slowdown seen in lower-tier mass market products, fundamentally changing the sector's long-term margin profile. Now look at how these dynamics are playing out in recent financial statements. The latest earnings reports show flat to mid-single-digit volume growth across the board. This slow volume growth has triggered concerns on Wall Street. Under the hood, gross margins have faced pressure from rising input costs like palm oil, cocoa, and wheat. Britannia has experienced minor margin contraction due to high wheat prices, while Nestlé India is managing volatile coffee and cocoa markets. These input cost pressures have forced companies to balance raw material inflation against price hikes, testing their pricing power in a price-sensitive market. This balance between volume and price-led growth is the most critical metric for long-term investors. During high inflation periods, these companies relied on price hikes to drive top-line revenues. However, that strategy has reached its limit as consumers push back. We are now seeing a shift toward volume-led growth, which is a healthier indicator of business strength. HUL is adjusting prices downward in key categories to stimulate volume demand. This strategy is essential for protecting market share from local and regional competitors, even if it temporarily dampens near-term margin expansion. Corporate management commentaries show a clear focus on structural efficiency. Executives are shifting from defensive cost-cutting to technology-driven cost savings. For example, Britannia is optimizing its manufacturing footprints to reduce high freight costs. At the same time, Nestlé India is expanding its direct-to-consumer digital channels to bypass traditional distribution layers. Management teams are signaling that they will not sacrifice long-term brand equity for short-term earnings beats. This focus on long-term strategy over short-term results is reassuring for institutional investors during this volatile period. This disciplined management approach is also visible in their capital allocation strategies. ITC is moving forward with demerging its hotel business, allowing the parent company to focus on its high-return FMCG and tobacco segments. This capital-light strategy should help improve return on capital employed metrics over time. Across the sector, capital expenditure is being redirected toward digital-first supply chains and factory automation. These investments are aimed at building structural efficiencies that will protect operating margins during the next economic upturn. However, these micro-level efficiencies must be evaluated against the broader macro environment. The Indian consumer market is currently split. High-end urban consumers continue to spend on premium products, while rural areas are recovering much more slowly from recent inflationary shocks. Additionally, quick commerce platforms are disrupting traditional retail setups in major metro areas. This shift in how consumers buy products is forcing legacy FMCG brands to adjust their distribution models. Companies must rapidly adapt to these new digital channels or risk losing market share to agile, digital-native startups. This structural change leads us to a larger concern regarding input cost inflation. Agricultural commodities remain highly volatile due to changing weather patterns and global supply chain disruptions. Palm oil prices have spiked, directly impacting soap and personal care margins for companies like HUL. Meanwhile, rising coffee and milk costs continue to pose challenges for Nestlé India. If these commodity price pressures persist, these companies may be forced to choose between raising product prices, which could slow volume growth, or absorbing the costs and seeing their margins squeeze. These margin pressures are further complicated by a changing competitive landscape. Local and regional brands are returning to the market as raw material prices stabilize in certain subsectors. These regional players can offer lower prices, undercutting national brands in semi-urban and rural regions. At the same time, private label brands from major retail chains are gaining shelf space in urban centers. This dual threat from both ends of the market means defensive giants must invest more in marketing and brand building. This increased promotional spending will likely cap near-term operating profit margins. This brings us to the core investment thesis: valuation reassessment. During the market highs of the past 2 years, FMCG multiples were trading at historically elevated levels. This recent 32% correction has helped cool those valuations, bringing price-to-earnings ratios closer to their long-term averages. For institutional investors, this represents a healthy reset. When we look back at the past 4 major market corrections since 2004, the sector consistently began to look attractive as valuations normalized. This historical pattern suggests we may be approaching a highly favorable long-term entry window. As we watch this sector transition, our framework points to a clear capital rotation strategy. High-growth sectors like defense and public sector units have experienced significant run-ups, making them vulnerable to valuation corrections. In contrast, the FMCG sector is showing strong relative strength and defensive value. This makes these assets prime targets for institutional managers looking to shield capital from broader market volatility. We are placing these quality consumer companies on a breakout watch. We are looking for volume-backed accumulation signals as the sector begins to build a stable bottom. In summary, the current 32% market correction is a classic defensive sector reset rather than a permanent breakdown of these business moats. As rural demand slowly recovers and raw material costs begin to level off, these market leaders are well positioned for structural earnings growth. To stay ahead of these large capital shifts and get deep institutional insights, subscribe to SR Money News IN. Hit the notification bell to join our network of sophisticated investors. We will continue to track these capital flows and bring you deep, analytical updates as this sector breakout unfolds.